He's won races in all the lower formulas. But for some unknown reason, he seems to struggle with Formula One, and he really has not done himself any favours at all this year, and obviously had the big crash yesterday, or rather Friday. So I think that although we're seeing a good result, and it'll be a great result for both Stewart, Ford and Magnussen to finish there high up in the points, unfortunately I don't think we're going to see him at the end of the season.
Well, he's lapping faster than David Hill at the moment, harried as he is, Jan Magnussen, by Olivier Panis, whose cross we are riding with now as we watch the white Stewart in front of us. And hats off incidentally to Ford and Cosworth, because this revised Series 10 V10 Ford Cosworth has obviously got a lot of thrust. And now, here is the race leader and the man who is second, Giancarlo Fisichella in the Benetton, lap 33 out of 69, completing the lap. Michael Schumacher sitting comfortably behind him, knowing that he's got a tyre stop advantage over the young Roman at the present moment. And in third position is still Damon Hill. He's 13 seconds behind Fisichella. And Magnussen is 9 seconds behind Damon Hill in fourth place, just ahead of Olivier Panis. Wood in the Benetton in sixth position is catching Magnussen and Panis. Magnussen is actually, it seems strange to say this, but he's actually a very high-speed roadblock at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Panis and Wirtz and everybody's going to, Constantine are up behind him. He, like we said earlier on, he's not able to run on that ultimate pace of his teammates and the guys in front of him. But I think more interestingly is the dilemma that Schumacher finds himself in now, because they've obviously, as far as the Benetton is concerned, he's on a one-stop strategy, so he's obviously only got to stop one more time. And if you look at Schumacher, he's on a two-stop strategy, and he's already stopped once, so they both have one stop. So what does Schumacher do? He's obviously being held up by Fisichella. He's obviously not quick enough to pass him. So I rather think that as far... Yeah, I mean, look, here we see on the screen now, Michael Schumacher's got a stop and go, so obviously that was speeding in the pit lane, I would imagine. They've obviously spoken to the team, they've probably tried to argue it, so he's now got to come in for a stop and go. So this puts a completely different face on the whole race.
Yeah, indeed it does, and of course it's the second time it's happened to him, and it's not, as I've pointed out many times before, just a 10-second penalty, it's more than that. It's a very short pit lane here, but he's going to have to add on the time that it takes to get into it and then to accelerate out of it. But now it's still Magnussen, Panis, Wirtz and Irvine in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th places. They've all got pipes in Nakano, and all those three behind Magnussen are desperately trying to look for a way past the Stewart.
I think what's happening now is obviously the team's only just been told. They've already told Schumacher. He's obviously discussing it now with the team when is the best time to come in. Obviously very annoyed. He's probably trying to tell them to see if they could change their mind, which obviously they're not going to. So he's now got to come into the pits. It's quite interesting, Murray, over the last 2 days of me watching out on the circuit. Michael takes the advantage everywhere he can. And I stood in the last turn there just yesterday watching some of qualifying. And I have to say that Michael comes into the chicane, or rather into the pit, faster than anybody else. Here we see him now. He has a brake point where he can actually brake coming into the pits. He's faster than anybody else into the pits. He's faster than anybody else out of the pits. And obviously he's now paying the penalty.
Now the question is Damon Hill going to be able to get up into a second position as Michael Schumacher is held? The gap between Schumacher and Hill was 16 seconds. There's the end of the 10 seconds. And there goes Damon Hill. Damon Hill is now second in the Canadian Grand Prix in the Jordan as Michael Schumacher accelerates out of the pit lane. And what is more, Diniz is between Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher, and news from James Allen in the pit.
A sensational news about the reason for that stop-and-go penalty. Frank Williams, as soon as the frenzen incident happened with Schumacher, where he put him into the gravel trap, Frank was down at the steward's office, put a formal protest in, and the verdict's just been delivered to Ferrari. Why Schumacher got the stop-and-go? It was for the frenzen incident, not for speeding in the pit lane. I can never remember reckless driving being penalised with a stop-and-go before.
Well, I'll tell you, Murray, I'm absolutely amazed, because I think there's going to be a lot of hoo-ha over that, because as far as I could see it, someone like Schumacher, he's not going to come out of the pits and just force the frenzen off the track. I think he's come out of the pits, he's looked in his mirrors, Frenzen was on the right-hand side of the circuit, and he probably didn't even see him. So I think that's a very strange decision for the stewards to take during the course of a Grand Prix.
Well, whatever, we're on lap 35 with Fisichella leading, Damon Hill is second, Michael Schumacher is third, Panis is fourth, Wurz is fifth, Irvine is sixth, half a race to go, and we're going to be back again soon.